Hi viewers, if you guys have been following along, you know I just did a bunch of hard prune trees. So now we're going to do some light pruning. These are some of my smaller trees, my youngest trees, and I don't want to cut too much off. I've already started the goblet, or the upside down umbrella shape, which is the taking out the center. So what I want to do is just do some light pruning, like this one right here that's standing straight up. We'll get rid of that, and we're not going to get rid of that, we're going to keep it, because I want you to stay tuned for what I'm going to use, what I'm going to do with these. We're going to do some winter cuttings, some what they call hardwood cuttings, and we'll show you how to do that when we come back. So we're just going to collect them so we know which is which. But this is what we're going to do. We're just going to look around, and we're going to want to take out, like say this one right here. It's standing straight up and it's not allowing my goblet to happen here. We're going to let some other stuff grow over the spring so that we can see what's going to happen next year. So we're just going to do minor pruning right now. We did a lot of pruning last year to get it to the shape that we wanted. So now it's all about trying to get fruit production and to make sure the branches are strong enough to handle it. Because once you get fruit on this branch right here and it pulls right down, it's only going to go so far before it snaps. So let's get up a little closer and I'll show you some of the cuts you should make. Don't forget to clean your pruners with isopropyl alcohol, vinegar, something that'll kill germs. I use 99% isopropyl, but you can probably get away with like 18% or 50%, whatever you got, as long as you clean off that stuff from the previous cuts. So let's get some close-ups of this. All right, so as you can see, this branch right here is shooting straight up, and there's a collar right there. We don't want to hit against the bark. We want to go just around the collar there. So we just do a quick snip, just like that. That should be fine. And the thing is, there's a little bit of hormones inside each one of these little collars that'll help heal itself when it goes. I think I'm going to cut that a little shorter though. There we go. That's a little better. So that's what we're going to do. Take off a couple of the highlights ones from here, and we're going to move around to a few of the other trees, and I'll show you a few other examples. And just like that, not too many today. Not on this one. This is my favorite peach tree. It does really, really well. So let's move on to another tree. The other thing you want to get rid of are these little sprouts at the root, at the base. These are probably coming up from underneath the graft, so we want to get rid of them, as it's just concentrating on the tree, right? We want it to concentrate on the branches above. So I don't know what these are. I don't know what kind of stock they are, but we got rid of them. You just cut them real close, get it right in there, and just cut right off. That's all that matters. Get rid of them. As much as I'd love to steal them and put them somewhere else, I just don't know what they are. So we're not going to do that. So the other ones we want to take care of, the ones that are rubbing together. As you can see, this one here is rubbing against it, another one. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to take this one off, right at the knuckle, and then I'm going to take this one off as well right here, and I'm going to let this branch come back over this way. So this is my plum tree. And what we're going to do too is, see how I can only reach up to about here. We're going to find an out-facing bud like this. We're going to snip just above it, and we're going to bring it over to that section. So it's going to start growing outward now. We want is a lot of this. We want a lot of growing outward. That's what we want. If this gets in our way, we might have to nip that one down. Well, we're going to let it grow this year and try and get some fruit out of it first. But I'm going to go around and do a light prune on this one as well. Okay, so these are my first fruit trees that I put in. Not my first, my second fruit trees, but these were the biggest and oldest that I bought in the first year of me doing this. I had some in the front that I did way before I even started permaculture, and those are the ones I got peaches and nectarines off of. Now these ones are down by the halfway point here. You can probably see in the background the tree line back there. So you can see this is one of my black plums. It's a Santa Rosa, and I've opened it up, and it's just doing this nice goblet, and I got rid of just very light prunings. That's all. Anything that's touching, anything that's facing towards the inside or crossing each other, I pretty much cut it off now. This is also a plum. It died off for some reason. It got something wrong with it, but it ended up sprouting its own branch. So This is a 1 year's growth on that right there. As you can see, I'll get a little closer so you can see it. You can see it's just, this is 1 year growth off of one branch. So we'll turn that into the main tree, but we're not going to do any cutting to it. And then we have my cherry tree. This is the one that the deer kind of rubbed up against, and hopefully I'm hoping it's going to come back. It's going to heal over. You can see the damage there that it did. And again, I just kind of opened it up more at the top over here than anything, and cleared out some of the branches so that none of them were coming inside. We didn't want anything going back the other way. Even this one may eventually come off in the future, but we're gonna let it grow this year too, because we want to see if we can get some cherries on it. It's in one of my best cherry trees that I have so far for growth. Lots of spurs on it, little flower spuds. I hope they don't bud early because it's so warm out today. But you can see this is just a nice open, it's kind of an open center right there. It looks a little different to some, but no, that's basically my open center. Now I'm not going to do anything to it yet because I like this tree. I only did some very light pruning to the inside. Later on I might come back and top that off because it's getting a little too tall for me to reach. So that's what I try to do, is go to my reach. And then we have our hard prune pears. What I want to do is get in there and start cutting out a few of those water sprouts. So we'll see if we can get up there with the ladder and do a little bit of trimming. I don't know if I'll be doing that today, but I will be getting at it eventually. So, but then I just let a lot of it grow to come back for the next year, so it doesn't want to die. Get lots of leaf, lots of growth. So I'm going to go do some cleanup on the tree line, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the cuttings. So stay tuned. Okay, so what we're going to do now, with after all that pruning that we just did, we're not going to waste anything. We're going to try and propagate as much as we can. So I have this new tote that I just picked up at Walmart for about 20 bucks. It's a nice, clear, sturdy container. It's even got the little hinges on it, so kind of like that a little bit. We'll see how it lasts outdoors. But what we're going to do is we're going to get some, I have the play sand here, and I'm going to put about 4 to 5 inches of sand at the bottom, and then we're going to get into cutting the all these extra cuttings. We're going to cut them so that we can propagate each cutting. So I'm not worried too much about these. I did not mark them. I'm just going to have to grow them, and the ones that grow, yay me, and the ones that don't, well, won't worry about it. But when they do grow, it won't really matter, because these ones are going to go into my garden. So it does not matter. I'm not going to sell these. These are not something I'm trying to sell. But maybe in the future I will be. But right now, let's get the sand in here, and then we'll get to cutting, and I'll show you how to do that in 1 second. All right. So I used about 1.5 bags of sand. It's pretty heavy. I mean, that's pretty heavy. I'm probably going to need help lifting that. So what we're going to do, don't forget your rooting hormone, which is fine. You could do it with it or without it. I prefer to take every chance I can to get success. You can use willow bark tea, which I have a video there that you might want to check out. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is just cut these, right? So we only want about maybe 6 to 8 inches, maybe 6 nodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll just cut it right there on an angle just below the bud, and that'll give it more chances of success. So what we want to do, make sure it's going to fit in there. So it's not going to fit in there. We're going to have to drop it down just a little bit more. So let's go down to, say, this one here. Let's go there. All right, so there's your cutting. We give it a little scratch on the back side there. It doesn't hurt to help with the rooting. And then, I mean, this is the same as all the other videos on TV. Just get some a nice helping of hormone in there, and place it right down in the bottom. And you just push it right down there. Pack it in a little bit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to water this. But I'll water it gently so it doesn't like spread out everything. I'll just spray it a little bit, let the mist absorb. So we're going to get at this. We have a million cuttings to cut, so I'll show you when I get it all filled up. Okay, we're just going to grab a handful of these, get them in there. Get a little goop on there. And it's as simple as plugging them in. That's it, you know. There's no muss, no fuss. You just put them in, set them, and forget them. There's nothing else we can do. Now, when they start rooting, what you're going to have to do, because this sand is play sand, is you're going to have a small little shovel and kind of break it up gently. Otherwise, when you go to pull up, you'll just leave the roots behind. So yeah, we're gonna fill that up. I'll give you one last look at what it looks like after we water it, and then we'll place it we're gonna put it in the greenhouse against the south side of the greenhouse, where it'll only get ambient light. All right, last thing we got to do is water it. As you can see, probably have, I don't know, a couple dozen in there at least. So we definitely want to get some water. Now you don't want to soak your sand. Don't soak it, because if you soak it, it'll probably go bad on you and you'll get a lot of rot. So we don't want that. So what we just want to do is put a little bit of water in there, a little bit at a time, and let the moisture sink to the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. At least that's how I do it. And I had just a little bit of the hormone left over, so I just mixed it with the water. So that's about it. That's it. So now we just got to find a place to put it, and we'll be done. This will be the final resting place for my cuttings for about 3 to 4 months. And I'll keep you updated like I always do. Alright, so one of the last things I want to do going into the new year, 2024, Happy New Year everybody, is I'm going to start taking care of some of these water sprouts that grew from last year. Now I let them grow throughout the year. I couldn't get at them, didn't have time, whatever the excuse was. But we're going to get in here, we're going to do a light pruning up here in my hard prune tree, which just goes to show you that you can hard prune a tree and have lots of produce come off it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get up there and pick a few that we like. We're going to get rid of some of the really tall ones. These ones here, we're going to cut off a lot of these and take a few off to the side. So that's what we're going to do, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. You can see I took off quite a bit, just a bunch of the uprights. I thinned this out really well and kept as many as I thought might grow, so it'll give me a chance in the summertime or in the springtime to figure out which one I actually want. So whatever grows the best, that's probably the one I'm going to grab. So I couldn't decide, so I just took off. I just thinned it out. So there's a lot of ones going straight out, and that's kind of the ones I want. And then there's the ones that go straight up, which will actually start to come down once they get weight on them. You can see in the back there I got a little branch tied down. It's one of the bigger branches on this pear tree. So I just wanted to show that, and I'll show a few more end results to a couple of my other trees, and then we'll get out of here for the week, and let's start a new year off with a big bang. And don't forget to grow your trees, and we'll see you next week.